Hello and welcome to East China Schools Today. With me today I have the heart and soul of the technology department in East China School District. I have Craig and Austin with me today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Could you please take a moment and tell me a little bit about yourself and the roles that you play at East China School District?
You want to go first?
Sure. My name is Austin Nancaro. I'm the network administrator with the district. I've worked with the district since 2010, but I've been, affiliated since 1994, I believe, was when I went to Headlee, and I went through the district the rest of the time since. Mm-hmm. I went local to college. 2010, I started working here. It was when I went to Baker for my bachelor's degree, and then I stayed here and became full-time when I was working on my master's degree. Now I'm here full-time.
Tell me, what does network administrator, what does that mean? What things do you do?
So as the network administrator, you can kind of think of me as like the mechanic for the infrastructure of our systems.
Okay.
Anything like the systems, servers, the network access switches, or the wireless access points, like your Wi-Fi router at home, but in the district level at an enterprise setting, a lot of different student accounts, really anything more towards the top level of our technology on the software side and somewhat on the hardware side as well.
Yeah, we kind of classify it. So it's all the behind the scenes stuff, Mm-hmm. Everybody sees the computers in the classrooms and all the technology in the classrooms, but really that doesn't work without the infrastructure of what Austin's talking about. The telephone systems behind the scenes, the wireless network behind the scenes, mm-hmm. the network switches behind the scenes, all the stuff that connects everything together, he's responsible for. So.
And you do have a team of exceptional people that help keep everything working in East China. What is the rest of your team comprised of?
Right, and I was talking to somebody today. It was kind of funny that you mentioned that. I love our department, I love our team, and I think we do, with what we have, I think we do a great job of supporting the technology in our district, whether it's staff, students, business operations, and whatnot. We have a centralized department at central office. Mm-hmm. There's 4 of us total. So myself, and I'll talk about myself in a second, but it's myself as the technology director. Mm-hmm. We have Austin as the system administrator, and then we have 2 desktop technicians. One, Jerry Socia, who's been with us forever, and everybody knows Jerry. Yeah. Tiffany Jarsky, who's been with us now for a few years. She actually started as a media specialist or a media parapro in one of the buildings. Mm-hmm. So we grabbed her up. She had great customer service.
Yes,
She's a great representative for the district. So there's 4 of us total. It's centralized. We have a centralized help desk, so staff can call in and we can help them over the telephone or an online help desk system. Mm-hmm. So we have some procedures in place, to support, our entire district.
So I just want to, our entire district has a tech department of four outstanding individuals.
Yeah, I guess so.
So Craig, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, and I'm the old guy of the bunch. I can't believe I'm saying that already. Back in 1998, mm-hmm. The district passed a bond issue. That's when they were going to build St. Clair Middle School. And part of that was an influx of technology at the time. So the technology department was created in 1998, and I was hired to work as a district technician through the mm-hmm. years. I then became what they called at the time a network leader, which is basically equivalent to what Austin's doing, and the titles turned into system administrator. And then I was hired as my official title is Director of Technology Services, which is basically, we laugh. It's everything if it touches a ceiling tile, we are responsible for it. Mm-hmm. Over the years, it's amazing how technology is involved in basically from classroom to operations to business office. We are pretty much involved in everything. But just to continue on, I live in Marine City. Mm-hmm. I'm married to my wonderful wife, Sandy. We have 4 children. My oldest, Jared, just graduated from college, and he has an IT degree with a network security.
Yeah.
So he's kind of following in my footsteps. Mm-hmm. My next 2 are playing college football at Alma. We are a football family. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I read that in the Times Herald. Yep.
And then my youngest will graduate. He's a junior now at Marine City High School. Will graduate next year, and hopefully on his way to college too. So.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. A lot of fun there. So 1998. What was the newest, latest, and greatest technology in 1998? What would some of us remember?
Apple IIe computers.
Okay.
What was, oh, I wish I could remember the software. Oregon Trail was the huge software learning tool in the elementaries at the time. When I first came to the district, there was 2 computer labs, literally 2 computer labs.
In the entire district?
In the entire district, besides office computers and things
Right.
like that. But we had a computer lab at St. Clair High, and we had a computer lab at Marine City High. And then throughout the elementaries, we had these Apple IIes, big old floppy disk, the 5 1/4 floppy disk. I'm dating myself, but you had to put a floppy disk in, and then you close the door, and then it reads the data off that floppy disk. But wait, there's a second floppy disk. So you open the door, you take that out, you put this, and that's how the programs loaded, you know, into the computer. So again, part of that 1998 bond was to add more computer labs. I mean, that's, you know, add more computer labs in the district. You have to think, and I can give you some history if you want a little bit of, you know, history, since I am the old guy a little bit. But so that was our first influx. We added, you know, back at the time, what was the latest and greatest? We did replace the Apple IIes. Okay, so we put TVs in every classroom. We put VCRs in every classroom, and we put computer teacher computers in every classroom, and then we put computer labs, you know, throughout the district. In order to do that, though, part of this project was upgrading all the electrical in all the buildings and some other things behind the scenes. So, go ahead.
When did email become a part of our daily life in education?
You want some more history? Again, back when I started, we actually had 2 email servers in the district. One of my first jobs was to kind of consolidate those email servers. So we had an email server at Marine City and an email server at St. Clair. And we all know about email addresses nowadays. So when a teacher moved from one building to another, their entire email address had to change, because at one side of the district it was actually SCHS at east-china.k12.mi.us. And if you're at Marine City, it's MCA, you know. So first thing we did was consolidate that. So the email was brand new. Those servers were actually brought in, I think, from a grant from Michigan Bell, if anybody remembers Michigan Bell, before it was AT&T, and kind of evolved that way. So we consolidated the email, created one structure for that. But
so so that was 1998.
Yes.
And so what is the most recent update that East China Schools has had in technology? When was the last time we got an update?
So with that 1998 bond, everything was pretty much installed by about the year 2000 or so. We did do dot matrix printers at the time too. So we went through an entire decade, really, before 2009. We went through an entire decade of maintaining, you know, technology was evolving like crazy through that whole decade. You know, and it's kind of like what we're running into today. Technology, it's old, it got old, it ran out of warranties, it just started failing like crazy. We couldn't get parts for it. I mean, it seems kind of like a cyclical thing. But I tell you what, the community responded, and in 2009, you know, the community said, hey, we're going to support you. We needed a technology refresh. So that's when the 2009 bond happened. So thank you to community for that. So we graduated from the VCR days, right? And the TVs in the classroom days, the cathode ray tube TVs in that day. We digitized, one of the big things that we did is we collected all the VCR tapes. We digitized every VCR tape, put that online. You know, what was becoming popular? 2009, so let's think, we're almost 10 years, almost 10 years. Almost 10 years already. So look how from 2009 to today what's changed, okay? When we put in the equipment for with the 2009 bond, one of the big things was wireless, okay? We didn't have that before, okay? But if you think about from now till then and how the explosion of the number of devices, everybody has I don't say iPhone, everybody has a device. Everybody has a wireless device. Think about social media. And at the time when that was installed, Suzanne, we thought it was the greatest thing. I mean, it was the greatest. We were one of the few districts. We were one of the few districts at the time that could provide wireless internet throughout the whole building, throughout the whole district.
How many devices do you have log in each day? How many, you know, in a typical day in East China?
You want to?
I would say probably in the neighborhood of 3,000 to 3,500, maybe a little bit higher than that, depending on the day.
Every day.
We have 3,000 or 3,500 devices that try to access our access our
Yeah.
network.
That's our network, our wireless network. And you got to think, you know, back in 2009, not to get too much, you know,
Right.
we had computer labs on a cart. You know,
Yes, I
laptops
remember
on a
those.
cart.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
laptops on a cart?
yeah.
Again, that was awesome because a teacher could take that cart, roll it into their classroom, and have a whole classroom set of laptops. Where have we been since 2009? Now, that has exploded. We have to think. Back in 2009, which we're still running 2009 technology,
Yep.
the iPhone 3 was out. Okay, so let's put it in perspective of where we're at with technology and what people are using. We are currently, our infrastructure set up to support iPhone 3 technology.
Okay.
Okay, so since then, the cost of devices has come down, you know, astronomically. Social media has exploded. iPads were not invented till 2010, so that wasn't even
That's
available,
very recent, yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden it just went, you know, it just
Oh, yeah.
exploded. So that's kind of where we're at today. So it's cyclical. You know, devices are, you know, we should put a device in everybody's hand is what we
Right.
should do. But yeah, we're seeing now, we are maxing out our network because it really is aged. I mean, it's showing its age. Same thing, we're out of warranties, end of life, which means we can't get parts.
Yeah, that is one of the questions I wanted to ask you. You know, with East China's current financial constraints, and our last refresh for technology was in 2009, how do you and Austin and the rest of your department keep everything up to date and running, and the equipment in our district working the way that you do? Because
Yeah.
in today's educational world or business, you can't operate if your technology is down. So how do you guys do that every day?
We'll start with infrastructure.
Well, you know, a lot of our stuff is still original from that 2009 bond or just a little bit before that. So like our desktop computers that our teachers use every day are from 2009. So they're going on 8, 9 years old. I mean, again, we talked about that iPhone example.
Right.
You know, if you still have your original iPhone or your iPhone 3G and you try and use it now, I mean, it's going to be a different world and it's not going to support a lot of stuff. But, you know, with our teachers who are using these things, you know, hours every day and trying to run classes on them, they're just, you know, they're getting old, and we've done what we could to upgrade what is possible to upgrade inside them, but they're just completely maxed out. And then, you know, same thing, you get more towards the server side, more towards my side, and, you know, we have some, you know, our security camera systems and servers are from 2006, I believe, so I think I was still in St. Clair Middle School when they were installed.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, as a
Yeah.
former principal in one of
Yeah.
our buildings, trying to see the footage from one of those security cameras is difficult. It's not the clear, sharp image that you think that you should be
We're not
receiving.
CSI.
We are not CSI. The
Right.
cameras, and I'm speaking out of my understanding, but the pixels are small or large.
Well, so imagine, right, the 2006, what kind of phone did you have, right? Probably a flip phone. So imagine a 2006 flip phone picture compared to your...
That's about what it looks like
Yeah.
Yep.
when you're trying to,
Yeah.
to look at that. So could you give, and I know you have many, so I know you have examples of this, and that's why I'm asking. Can you give an example of how dire the current state of the equipment in our technology department are? What are some of the, you
that's
know,
a good one.
things that you have to do to keep things going when they go down?
So
How about a fairly recent example?
I was going to say, I think we have a couple.
We have a few.
Yeah.
we do. Earlier this year, we had an issue with our voicemail system. The server for the phones, right? So our phone system is VoIP-based, so basically it's kind of like a network phone. It's a little different than your old style where you'd plug in like a old phone cord. You put in an actual network cord, which is cool. We put them in with the 2009 bond. But one of the voicemail servers that was in had an issue that brought it down. And because it was, you know, because of the age, there was no available parts, so we're on eBay looking for parts, and you know everything was
my
done.
goodness.
You know, it was a great
You're
system
on
when it was
eBay
put in.
looking for
We
parts.
did find a part,
We
Oh,
did.
good.
We found the part.
but it didn't work.
We had it. We overnighted it. We put through all the time and effort, tried to get everything done. Everything was set up, you know, great when it started, but after 9 years, it didn't work, and it ended up taking, you know, I think over a week, right? Probably
Yeah.
about a week and a half for us to get it back up and running.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so this is what we're running into with the equipment they have. When something fails, yes, we found a part. the vendors get to the point where there's no parts for this anymore. There's we can't do it. So we get a part off eBay, but that's hit or miss because that's just somebody who accidentally had, thank goodness had a part. So it didn't work. So we ended up having to rebuild that entire server with another 10-year-old server because the software is so old you can't put it on modern systems. I mean, that's just, we have to keep it in the same age bracket. And my big thing, and in all serious note, when you think about technology in the district and all the things that we run, I would really put phone systems up there as far as safety and security. That needs to keep running. And one of the things that we experienced with this situation, our auto calls, our auto attendant, which runs off this voicemail server. So, parent calls and they get that, press 1 for this, press 2 for that. With that server being down, that failed. So people could not call into our main numbers of our building, which caused a lot of stress, a little bit of chaos. And so we did scramble. We did have a good plan in place, and we had to put some information on our website. But those are the things that we're running into. When you can't find parts, things take longer to fix. I mean, it's very stressful. It's very stressful.
You spend, I bet, a majority of your time problem solving and trying to find the parts and get to keep things running instead of playing offense.
Well, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Being reactive as opposed to,
Yeah, we're constantly reacting. And one of the examples that I can give from an instructional level is at Marine City High School and St. Clair High School, we run Project Lead the Way engineering classes. And you guys can probably speak to this, trying to keep our students up to date with the latest software upgrades so that they could run this program and learn the engineering or the CAD software. We can't currently do with our computers.
That is correct. Because there's rightly so, Project Lead the Way has a requirement. So we're running on 10-year-old computers and we're doing everything we can. We've maxed out the memory. We can't update the software anymore. The machines are running as best that they can. But with this software, let's face it, our students are going into a competitive world, right?
Yes, absolutely.
This is not a need or a want, it's a need, This is something we need to provide. But Project Lead the Way software gets updated every year. So every year that we have to do these upgrades for AutoCAD on these older computers, it just gets worse and worse for them. And we feel bad about it. There's just nothing you can do.
And they're such great kids, but they get frustrated with us when it takes so long, to load their computers. But thank you for all you do to keep that running. Because
but the voicemail server's back up and running. And
you guys are miracle workers. So this past school board meeting, the most recent school board meeting, the board voted to approve a bond that will be on the May 2019 election. This bond includes technology upgrades to all of our buildings. If this bond is not successful, we'll have to continue to make things work as we have without any additional financing. When you hear this statement, what goes through your mind?
I quit.
No, you can't quit.
I'm just kidding. You? What are you doing?
I think I'll be updating my resume.
No, you absolutely cannot do that.
I'm just kidding. Listen.
But I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that I working with you every day and seeing what it takes to make this technology run, we are at that 2009 point again, where we need to refresh. We need to give the best opportunity for our students and for our staff for their instruction and for their learning.
With what we have now, we're losing instruction time just because the computers are so old, the issues that we're having with them. We're losing instruction time based on the lack of devices. And again, I talked earlier about the explosion of the amount of devices and just the need to be online anymore. You can attest to this, Suzanne, about just online learning, online textbook, interactive, everything video-based now. I mean, that is where we're heading.
Yes. And we want our kids to have every single opportunity to do that. So if you could, and we had one, if you could wave a magic wand We try to do that every day.
Yep.
What do you feel needs to happen in East China to remain current for our students to be prepared and our staff to work most efficiently? What do we need? What do we need to have? And you mentioned phone systems and that how important the safety and security piece is there.
I don't want to take over all his thunder. I'll start, and you can add in whatever.
Sounds good.
Listen, it's everything. Okay, so let's talk about technology. It's an environment, a school environment that's going to benefit our students, our staff, operations, our safety. You know, Austin's part is infrastructure. All that starts with, I'd like to see a device in the hand of every student. Okay?
One-to-one.
So one-to-one. We talk about, I had a great conversation with somebody today, curriculum, instruction, and assessment, right? So what is awesome about today's technology, or the ability, if we had one-to-one devices, is a teacher could actually sit, a couple examples. Everybody, groups of 5 or whatever, collaboration is huge. We get these kids in a group that can work on a project. And then let's say, okay, you want to share your project and where you're at with the rest of the class, and we want to be able to take one of those one-to-one devices and throw it on a TV, you know, throw that picture and that report up on a TV in the class, and then everybody can communicate and talk about it. That's where we're heading. Assessment. So it's not, I have a test on Friday, I take this test, and then the teacher has to move on to the next section on Monday. When we talk about online, we talk about one-to-one devices, the infrastructure to handle one-to-one devices, and again, you know, back me up if I'm wrong on this, but the ability to have a teacher do a quick assessment in the middle of their lesson and say, where are all of my students and where can I help them now, not next week? That's what I want to be able to see and offer. It starts with infrastructure.
It does.
We have to have the infrastructure, which we don't have right now, to move into the next phase that we need to. And then it goes by the next devices in the hands of students. We definitely need new equipment in the classrooms and the businesses. And, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
it all fits together.
Yep, and we even have some instructional strategies in our schools where we're doing some flex learning, where students, it's not the traditional that they sit in a classroom for 60 minutes, and so they need the technology in order to communicate and access the information. We do flipped classes where it's exactly opposite what people are used to, where the instruction happens at home through a device, and then the homework and the question answering happens the next day in class. So there's many different ways to reach our learners, and if we don't have our technology up to date, we lose some of those opportunities. So I'm hoping that, you know, that we will soon be able to have a refresh and give every one of those opportunities.
And that's the classroom side.
Students.
You know, and then we look at, you know, we talk a lot about safety and security. We talked a little bit about security cameras at the beginning. We should be doing more. With what we have, we can't. I mean, we need to. It's time.
And I agree that the thing, though, that I want to stress is how wonderful your department is and how the 4 of you keep every building in this, all 11 buildings, operating and running every day, because we rely on you more and more, you know, as technology becomes more and more a part of our business end as well as our instructional. And so thank you. Thank you for all you do. You really do keep us running. I mean, the quickest way to get anybody's attention is not have the computer work for the day.
That is the truth.
So thank you. We turn it on and we expect it all to work, and you make that happen for East China Schools. So thank you for everything you do every day for our students and staff, and thank you for being on East China Schools today.
That's fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining East China Schools today.